All right, good evening, everyone. It's your friendly neighborhood caster, HD Philly B, and alongside with me is the ever wonderful Spectreon. Spec, how you doing today?
It's getting late over here in the United Kingdom, but for these two teams, I think, the evening is just starting. BGSU, Bowling Green State University versus the Rochester Institute of Technology. Two teams who maybe haven't had the most stellar seasons so far, hoping to get one up above each other in a match that will start off our evening, and I could not be more excited.
I think this one is going to go the distance. So, Bowling Green, they lost to Arlington, William and Mary, and then Hawaii, but they looked really strong in a lot of those matches. Against Arlington, they took two maps. They took it all the way to game 5. Against William and Mary, they took against Hawaii, they took a map off of them as well. So if they can find their groove, they can look really strong and play to their strengths. So RIT is going to look to disrupt their rhythm early and often. On the other side, RIT, they have momentum. They're fired up. They got their first win of the season last week against Montana State. So they're going to be looking to roll that through in this matchup against Bowling Green and probably bowl them over.
Yeah, I believe we can take a quick look at the rosters. The 5 players each team will be fielding, and as we see it up now from Bowling Green University, Shady Snare, Night Levels, Grants Code, Nightmare, and Evan VP, and of course from RIC, Foliage, Peba, Minky, Toast, and Liam. I believe from RIT, a couple of these players are veteran, returning from last year. PGSU, sorry, they're fresher, I do believe.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of matchups that I'm looking at here. So Seb was actually the main tank for RIT, Reinhardt main, a big brawl guy. So they switched him out today for Minky. Maybe they have some strategy coming into this first control map, and then maybe Seb will come in. But this tank matchup is what I'm going to look for because Grant is that keystone piece on the side of Bowling Green. And so everything flows through him. If he's taking space, the team follows after. If he falls down, the rest of the team crumbles. So that's a matchup I'm really going to look for. There's also a few other changes as well on the side of Bowling Green. Zoloft, who's their main Baptiste player, is subbed out for Evan, and then I think Toast and Llama are still on the So Toast and Liam are still on the other side as well. So looking forward to that. What I really want to see Spec today is the DPS stepping up. So the last couple of games I've watched for Bowling Green, Shady and Knight, they're kind of there. They're kind of doing a lot of like a couple of things, but they're not really putting the impact. They're not putting their stamp, their name on the game. And I think that is really going to be a piece and an integral piece tonight for Bowling Green.
That's really interesting, Philly, because I think with the recent patch notes, it's going to put a lot more pressure onto the supports and the tanks. Remember, blanket nerfs to the supports. There's much less sustain in the game, so there's going to be less Suzus, less immortalities going towards the tanks, and of course used defensively, selfishly as well for the supports. There's going to be a lot more pressure suddenly on a lot of these players, and it's been a new patch. There's not been much time to scrim against it, so they're still going to be adjusting to their newfound weaker power level. And I mean, if that's any environment to see DPS pop off, then it would be this.
Yeah, and for the folks at home, this blanket nerf that Spec is talking about is there's an increase in the cooldowns of a lot of these support abilities. So, for example, Immortality Field is now 25 seconds as opposed to 22. Suzu has an extra second on it. Bio Grenade has an extra 2 seconds. So, a lot of these minute timings that these players are so used to in terms of being able to save their team, save themselves, you might see them stumble a little bit because they're going to be clicking the button to try to toss the grenade or the Immortality Field, and it's not going to come out just yet. So definitely going to be looking for those sort of things from the support lines on both teams, and the DPS are definitely going to try to take advantage of those instances. Our first map here, Spec, is Busan, and I'm hyped for it.
Busan is going to lead yourself as well to lots of DPS plays. It's very often a wide open map where you have these really long sight lines where strong hit scans can absolutely take over the lobby. So Sanctuary and Downtown both going to be absolutely terrifying for pretty much everyone else in the lobby. Mecha base is going to be a little bit different, a lot more tank heavy, a lot more support heavy, a lot more utility heavy. And that is a map where I think you would be missing out on having a Reinhardt player if you can't go with those meaty rule compositions to engage at that close range. But I'm going to go into the lobby, see where we start. And Busan, I mean, it does have a lot of variation. I think it's an absolutely great place to start the matchup between these two teams.
Absolutely. So Rochester normally with Seb in the lineup, they go with the Bastion Sim, kind of teleport around, and then BGSU, they usually with Night Levels and Shady, kind of Night Levels is a tried and true Sojourn player, always plays Sojourn, and Shady is kind of the one that switches, whether he goes Reaper, Junkrat, maybe goes to another hit scan as well. So he's going to be the one that's going to be changing to kind of counteract whatever RIT is tossing out. So it looks like RIT is going with Minky on the Sigma, a little bit of a slower approach to start.
Yeah, this is very standard from what we're seeing in the current meta. Sigma is just naturally a very strong pick, and this whole composition focuses on slowly taking space. You don't really go for many rushes, even though you do have the Lucio, mainly there to reposition your hit scans, but pay attention to Piba on the Sojourn, because that rail charge and whether they can land headshots or not is going to be the big difference maker. With the Bastion from BGSU, instead you're playing around the Bastion cycles. Whether you have that wheels mode or not, that's going to force plenty of space from the tank. And Night Levels on the Sojourn there to supplement, so a little bit more tank pressure from BGSU, a little bit more pick pressure from RIT, but instantly it drops to the point.
Yeah, and a pick from Night Levels with that charge shot, as you were mentioning, right onto the backline in that Baptiste. So majority of the healing down now. Foliage and the rest of the gang going to try to follow in after. And another kill, a headshot onto Rescue Toast. And that is going to be a fight win on the side of RIT, or not RIT, BGSU rather. And they're going to have to back out RIT and reset to come in once again.
RIT's fight plan has to change here dramatically. Noticing the Bastion and Sojourn, they need to go much faster. And that's exactly what we're doing now, accelerating into the backline.
And there we go. They're using that speed boost to great effect to try to find a pick, but they were thwarted. A good disengage on the side of Bowling Green, and now they're recontesting now with the Grant leading the way. Once again, that Keystone piece launching in the rock. A window, though, comes down from Liam. He's trying to look for a pick here, but they move and skirt right about to the point. And now Window on the other side, and the Graviton Flux coming in and slamming people back down. Mickey's so low, and now he's down. That's another fight win for the side of BGSU.
Grant has been pumping the work in. That's a lightning fast flux, mirroring the charge of the Matrixes, normally the fastest in the game, but yeah, just absolutely flattening Minky in terms of charging it all, and you see the value of the Graviton Surge there, putting a pretty summative end to the fight. It was a nice attempt from RIT trying to get an early winner to win the fight, but unfortunately the placement may be a little off. Yeah, sure, it forced BGSU off the high grounds, but did no more than that, didn't control any space on the point, didn't make their lives any more uncomfortable than that, and to top it off, RIT did not end up leveraging the high ground nearly as much as they could have. They had some free fire lines into the point that unfortunately they neglected to use, and so another fight lost for them, pushing in now at 70%. This could be their last properly good shot.
Yeah, and they have a couple of ultimates to boot, 3, so they're going to be looking, and here comes the Blizzard, tossed in, trying to freeze people in place, but they got all knocked back right out of the Blizzard. Oh, and there goes a double boot from Rescue Toast! Immaculate stuff from them. Once again, another double boot. They did it last week as well. Will that be enough to win the fight? A flying rock goes through the midair, off into the distance, and a nice punch to the face in the counterpart, and it looks like RIT will take this one.
And that's the real strength of Blizzard, not for getting kills, but for all the space it controls. You cannot stand inside its aura. That forces all of BGSU into some very awkward spots, and Rescue Toast, with some brilliant timing to follow up, gets a double kill. She's absolutely popped off for a team. And RIT now in first control, with ults to burn as well.
Yeah, that sound barrier is definitely going to be crucial when BGSU tries to make that push in. So a couple of cooldowns being used by Grant so far, so they're going to be taking tabs on that. And here they go, moving into the push. A nice jump through for everybody, but can they find a target and bring them down? Looks like the sound barrier comes in from Toast to keep everybody up, but a sound barrier on the other side from Evan to keep everybody alive as well. Pimmer just lays in the overclock, but his Night Levels on the other side doing the same, just 1 for 1. And there goes Grant, finding his counterpart on the other side, and there goes the dominoes. Like I was mentioning, if Grant finds the space, he'll take everybody down, and they'll be able to cap the point off of this one.
And that's really rough, not even getting to invest the window from Liam Helium that maybe would have been the difference maker in that fight, but they're just ran over by BGSU. The double support ult's too strong, and now 95%, a touch has to be attempted from RIT, but it has to be Toast, and sprinting to the point, I just don't think it's possible. Oh, it lost seconds!
The last second, the Ryan is able to get there, but he goes right to the Gravitic Flux, just tosses up and slams him back down. Couldn't even survive for an instant. And then there goes Piver, just as the sliver of health falls shortly thereafter. And there's the first point for BGSU.
Lovely play. They had such a strong ult bank there in the final hour that, yeah, it was a nice attempt at a touch, but they had really nothing they could do. No space, no ultimates, and yeah, just lambs to the slaughter there. BGSU, they get the flip on downtown, going to Sanctuary. I mean, and speaking of long sight lines, those DPS angles, and I mean, this is one of the strongest points in the game for it. These are crazy long sight lines, and maybe I wouldn't hate even a swap over to the Ashe just to access them. I would make it as well, but it looks like both teams going towards that Sojourn Bastion. But as I say, it's a swap over. RIT have gone over to the London Spitfire comp. They're going to look to teleport using the Symmetra into the backline with Foliage on the Bastion. There's plenty of damage, nothing they can do if they get some good plays. But this is really quite hard to execute. So RIT, a lot of pressure on their shoulders, but if this is played correctly, there's nothing BGSU can really do to repulse this.
Yeah, and this is their tried and true strategy spec. This is what they pulled out in the last couple of weeks as their brawl strategy. So I think they've been very practiced on this. So let's see how they are able to move into this more static composition with Grant at the helm on the Sigma. Launches in the rock, hits the Reinhardt, and just lays a couple balls right to the face. And now they're rotating to the point. He's got the shield up, but it's very cracked. He's got to find a way to recover some of it. He does charge back to the rest of his team as they rotate back onto the point. Another rock comes flying in. He's bowled over once again. Grant just taking his opposite number to town, and they're able to cap this point quite easily.
Yeah, they do, and that's one of the problems with the Spitfire comp. Unfortunately, not all of that great just in an up-on-up fight. The Sigma's going to provide a lot more value, especially when Ryan isn't swinging. And yeah, point capped, Sigma in defensive positioning. RIT, honestly, on the attacking side, might find a little bit more value from the Symmetra TP, but right now, the point percentage is not taking up in their favor.
Yeah, they have to use that TP to their favor to rotate more effectively. There has to be speed, there has to be quickness, and here comes Bowling Green. Once again, they're looking to just deny them that space, deny them those rotations, and take the fight to them, and it looks like that's what they're doing. Everybody very low on the side of Bowling Green, especially Shady. He's gonna be, he's got taken down with the window grenade on the side of Foliage, a double kill from him, and I think that would be the rest of the dominoes falling thereafter.
Yeah, there it is. RAT, one of the criticisms I leveled at them early in the season was a lack of thought into their teleporter placement, but there it was perfectly played. Going on to the point, then kiting the cover, kiting the Shady snares, turret form. Once it was gone, they re-peak with Foliage, shifted up, gets a double on the nades, and yeah, point flip, 20% accrued, and in a great position to get more.
Yeah, this is a few. There goes the window now. This is going to a huge sightline for them to kind of lay in and take more time off the clock. And there's that double bounce grenade again from the side of Foliage, and he takes a third to his name as well. Can they get the final one as the Sigma tries to retreat? He's jumping, he's moving, he's trying to get back to spawn, and he just can't do it as Rescue Toast says, I'll send you there myself. And that's another fight win for them, and they've taken the percentage in their favor.
I mean, BGSU have just had their day ruined. Foliage, the one to do it. I mean, a double nade in an already numbers advantage scenario. Nothing you can do but go straight back to spawn. And a nice dagger onto Gransko just makes it all the more painful. So RIT, a humongous ult bank, 4 ults. The same for BGSU though. So this fight might have some fireworks.
Yeah, they're laying down that artillery strike to try to move them out of and get them separated, but they were able to dodge it effectively. And here comes Rescue Toast with the sound barrier, but wasn't able to save herself. But she keeps the rest of her team alive for now. But Pivot falls shortly after by laying down the sacrificial photon barrier. But is that enough to keep the point in their favor? I don't think it is, but they will accrue a good amount of percentage as the clock ticks forward. Another headshot there from Night Levels, laying into the backline there, just annihilating folks, and they still are able to have that overclock for this impending push. But Spec, they spent a lot to get that point.
That they did. 79% though means that it's not really one fight territory. BGSU should still be able to manage a touch even if the flip comes through. So they're in a great spot right now. And the overclock as well can find plenty of value. It's a lot easier to leverage than the shatter that Minky has. The only 2 ults on the board right now. And those are the only ults. And that's kind of known by everyone on the server. So these fight plans are going to be very predictable. So it's all about execution here.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if that teleporter comes in a sneaky spot. Just the teleporter slam down. So they're making this nice rotation. There's the teleporter. I think they're doing a very long rotation around this side, but it's scouted out the entire way. There comes Night Levels in the backline with that overclock at the ready, looking to shoot 100% laid in, but nicely blocked on the side of Mickey. And the hammer down. There's that rotation. And there's also that charge for a double kill on the side of Mickey. And they're just laying into everybody on this side. Grant goes tumbling thereafter. And a team kill for the side of BGSU.
I won't lie to you, Philly. I was very nervous when I saw RIC going on that long rotation against the Bastion and the Sojourn. There's so much opportunity for someone to take a step out of line to get picked off, but thankfully the execution was there, and Minky's double shatter nets them, results 92%. And BGSU is sprinting for a touch. RIT set up to punish. This could be brutal.
Yeah, they do, and RIT does have the window. There it is, laid down with the fire strike to boot. They've been working on that combination, but Shady Snare has something to say about it. As he takes 2 for his name, and so he's moving for it. Pebber trying to keep everybody alive as he's working with that Symmetra, buzzing away, trying to lay down into the shield. Teleports to the other side. Will they give up the point though? The overtime tick is now burning. The Gravitic Flux comes in from the side of Grant. Doesn't get anybody though. And there's that photon barrier, dodging, weaving, bobbing, weaving, and takes him down. Shady not able to find anything. Using that photon barrier to great effect is Pibber, and he's still staying alive over out here, staying at full health too. And let it be known, that was a massively tricky play from the side of him. But Symmetra, with less HP now, still able to stay alive. That was incredible.
Yeah, it did get a little bit dicey there, but RIT do manage to close out, and they started off the fight really strong as well. They sent a fake TP into the backline to make BGSU swivel their attention a little bit, and while their attention was drawn, it was a window fire strike play, 200 damage from the Reinhardt ability, and yeah, that one-shots Evan BP. It's a lovely attempt with the window Bastion to trade it back, and while it gets dicey, then they never really were able to recapture that momentum. So RIT, they got 1-1, and here on Mega Base Philly, I mean, this is the most brawl-centric map on, you know, all of Busan. And so this Reinhardt composition is only going to get stronger and stronger, and BGSU, they might have the screws tightened on them a little bit here. An interesting decision actually from RIT to stick on the Symmetra. Normally on a map like this, the Mei is preferred. Those isolations strong enough, but we'll see if that pays dividends or not, as Night Levels will be the one to pilot that particular hero from the BGSU side.
Yeah, that could be the nail in the coffin for them by sticking on the Symmetra, but we'll see. There's that laser beam just flying in there, and there it is. As we were saying, a pick onto Gransco. So that was what they're saying. They want to just annihilate that shield down and then take down the tank thereafter. But the fight is still going. As there comes Rescue Toast claiming one for themselves, punching the face of Night Levels, and they go falling in, tumbling onto Shady and taking him down. It's going to be a point capture for them. Now, Spec, last week we interviewed Liam and we asked him, do you guys practice that window to fire strike? And he said, yes, we do. That's something we do in scrims when we're just practicing for fun. We have a good countdown, a good timer, and Liam is the one that's leading the charge on those window combination plays. So it was nice to see them use that to great effect and win that fight for their team in the last map.
Coming up to the choke now, they have the kill gate set up, but a lovely wall is going to put all the pressure onto Minky.
Yeah, and now they got to find something. A lot of cooldowns used. You saw that ice block and the ice wall used. There's the lamp as well. We know with the extended cooldown now, but they have Evan. He's using the speed boost to try to maneuver folks in and out. Who will get the first pick? And it is Liam, just like we were saying, on to Gransco. Once again, he is that linchpin, so they have a strategy, RIT. They're finding Grant, and they're taking him down. Another fight win for them. Now they're finding the stragglers. This could be an awful stagger. Can they find him? They do. The turret claims the life of Night Levels, and that's going to be a lot of percentage ticking up for this control.
Yeah, I think a little bit too greedy from Night Levels, who needed to know when to just give up their lives. Unfortunately, greeted the shift, didn't burn the Maywall instead, and so, yeah, just a very late stagger. RIT, as you mentioned, plenty of percentage points. Enough TP shatter play!
What? Did it miss? I think it hit. I think it missed.
He shattered the ghost. He shattered the voices in his head.
But plenty of ults still left in the bank, as here comes the artillery strike, laying down onto the heads of Bowling Green. It does claim Shady, but that sound barrier comes flying through from Evan, trying to keep everybody alive, but I think it's a little bit too late. The last ditch Blizzard just tossed in there just to try to find something. I think that they would want to hold on to that for the next round. It seems like a misclick for that.
I would assume they're swapping, and they swapped some of their composition, but they're sticking on the Mei, so yeah, I'm not quite sure about that from Night Levels. Unfortunately, 15% left to go. One last attempt from BGSU. RIT have every advantage, and the Symmetra wall from Piba is still such a big win condition for them.
And there it is, laid down to great effect. So can Foliage use that, the lamp, then to toss in to keep him alive? And there's Piver just laying down damage into the backline, taking Evan and Liam claiming, but they would create so much space they couldn't even touch. What?
I thought he was on the point. Okay. Either way, RIT, they look in control. As soon as they can get onto this favored comp, when they are playing the Reinhardt, then suddenly they look like a team who knows exactly what they're doing. When they were on the Sigma before, unfortunately, it didn't have the same level of killer instincts, for lack of a better term. You know, it didn't have the same go that we're seeing here, but with the Symmetra TP, suddenly that's going into the backline. All these plays, as you mentioned, they've been practicing them, and that clearly shows, and that right now, BGSU don't really have the answers to it.
Yeah, and something I was concerned about was not having Seb in because they subbed in Minky, but it looked like those two probably just are they're twins or something because the Minky played fantastically on that Reinhardt, being able to hit the teleport shatters, being able to do the window fire strikes. They played fantastic. On that last point spec, they held that door so well. I don't even think that Bowling Green was able to touch the point once. And even at the end, when we thought they touched, their bodies just died as they were falling onto the point. So yeah, definitely, that was one of the things I was looking for. Who's going to come out on these the victor on these brawl comps? Because that's where BGSU really shines, is on brawl. And it seems like they were lacking a little bit there with playing the Sigma. Then they finally switched to the Orisa. So maybe on hybrid, they'll play Orisa to start and maybe find a little bit more purchase.
And I do think it's worth mentioning that normally Reinhardt and Brawl Comps in general are going to be a lot stronger on control points. You know, those points forcing you into those close range sightlines more often than not. So it might be a little bit harder for RT to continue playing the Symmetra Reinhardt on the rest of the map pool. And coming up next, they might struggle with that a little bit. So definitely a chance for BGSU to build back into their series just off the back of that. They have a little bit more chance to play this Sigma or this Orisa that they've been wanting to do. And of course, what we also know as well now is that Orisa is a pretty strong counter into the Reinhardt. They really don't have an ability to kill you just because of your survivability. You have the spin, you have the gold, the spear as well, and plenty of shield pressure on the Reinhardt makes rotations very awkward. But Para-ESO will be next. RIT have struggled, especially playing Reinhardt here before. I've seen it happen with my own two eyes, and hopefully they've went back to the drawing board. They've worked out some more plays, because a big issue they noticed before, well, I noticed before, sorry, was a lack of variety. They had one really good play. And once they executed that, and once their opponents had found an answer to that, then they had nothing to do but keep bashing their heads into that brick wall. So a little bit of variety, a little bit of options, I think, would really make them into a team that can contend for championships.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see.
We've talked about a couple of times on stream, is that when you have this strategy that you've been practicing, that you've been working towards, and then there's a wrench that's thrown into it, how do you compose yourself? Who's calling the shots on the team saying, hey, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to switch to, right? To try to counter, because Overwatch is a game about switching characters. We know that. That's why we love this game. You're not just locked into one champion this entire match, right? It's about switching to counter the other team. But somebody has to make that call. And somebody has to step up and say, I'm going to be the leader, I'm going to be the star, let me handle it. So we'll see if that comes to fruition here on this map. It looks like their teams are posturing a lot of different compositions here. I'm seeing Anna's coming out, and seeing Echoes as well from both sides. Spec, what do you think about that?
RIC are playing a variation on a poke composition. It's going to look to play its distance. Foliage is going to get mostly armor packs from Rescue Toast, and Liam, Helium, Peeber, Foliage, Minky, they can all just spam in damage. Rescue Toast just be playing to peel for Liam Helium, but realistically, it's all about controlling space. BGSU going to be a little bit more divey with Gransko on the Doomfist, can go a lot faster than the Diva, a little bit less damage at range as well. But the big thing to pay attention to is Peeber, and whether that Soldier 76 is getting the resources that he needs into all of this pressure, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting a lot on his shoulders to take out Shady, right? Find and turn when Night Levels tries to sneak into the back line. But here comes the Doomfist just flying in on his lonesome. Does he have any support? He uses the power block to keep himself alive, and then the slam to come back up. Nothing the Diva Matrix can do against those abilities, as she gets incredibly, incredibly low. She needs to be topped up now. A hack on the Rescue Toast, and Mickey's still low once again and knocked out a mech quite easily. There goes Grant, just flying around, punching people into the face and into the walls.
Well, speaking of that, Peeber just goes down because of it. Shady Snare are the ones to open up proceedings, and this fight is instantly turning against RIT.
Yeah, they're just backing out. They don't even know what to do. They can't regroup without their tank. So a really quick dive coming out from Bowling Green, and they're able to get a couple ticks onto this point. Let's see how RIT decides to recontest. So I think they'll have one more fight in before this is all said and done. The pylon is in place. Sombra is invisible. Looks for the hack. A switch to the Tracer for Peeber, and trying to find some purchase there as well. And there goes Foliage over the top. A headshot onto his counterpart, but he's getting dangerously low. He needs to be topped up. He is. A Winston come flying through now as he put the shield down to block some of the damage coming off for the bridge, and Doomfist incredibly low, purpled as well. Can they finish him off? He does get back. He escapes just in the nick of time, but Foliage lays in the beam to try to take him down, but is not able to. Can they recontest? There is a straggler there on the back end. The Sombra, though, able to use the translocator to great effect and escape with their lives. Okay, everyone's regrouping now. What do you think?
Foliage has the duplicate very likely going on to Gransko on the Doomfist, but Minky going down is not the way they want to start this out.
Oh, another clever dive on the side of Bowling Green as they lead in with Grant, who finds Peeber with a nice slam, and I think that's going to be the point for BGSU.
Yeah, finally the cap comes through. It was a decent defense on all. But unfortunately, RIT with a couple of key mistakes, playing a little bit far back. It means that BGSU have a lot of sidelines. They have a lot of space given essentially for free from which they can stage this dive. And that's allowed them to build into every ultimate 5 check marks on their side of the screen. That is terrifying if you're playing against for RIT. Very likely, though, a nano boost onto Grantsko going to be how they're starting this out. But, I mean, they have every option available to them. So trying to counterplay this from RIT could be a challenge.
But Spec, what's the combination here? Is it the EMP into Meteor Strike? Is it just the diving Doomfist with the Nano Boost? Like, how do you combo these ultimates, though? That's where I'm kind of lost.
I mean, you have
though the dive though from Grant.
Pretty well.
What's that?
I said you plenty of options. That answers it pretty well. But
yeah,
still fighting now.
In. Yeah, it's not over yet as the pulse bomb gets tossed in from Peeber, but it just misses, and a slam down the Meteor Strike right side on Rescue Test as they were using the rally as well. That's an ultimate wasted, and a nice counter there. Here comes Foliage, you use the duplicate onto the Elati to try to find a little bit of extra healing for their team, but to no effect there. Does put in the focusing beam, can't find anything as the night levels just pesters them and takes them out of the sky. Another fight win for BGSU, and they only use 2 ultimates to do it. This is a dangerous point now for RIT as they're trying to get a mount another defense.
And they had to use their 2 weakest ultimates, arguably, as well. The Captive Sun and the Meteor Strike. So they still have EMP, they still have Nano Boost, they still have Duplicate. This is still looking painful for RIT, who at least have a Nano Boost to duplicate it.
And there it is, the duplicate for Shady Snare trying to get onto the Tracer. An interesting choice. Can they find some purchase here? They do find 2 as the slam comes flying in from the side of Grant. Takes 2 down. Shady does find 1 on the back end, and then goes back into the Echo form, trying to find a little bit more. There's that focusing beam to finish off Minky, who was just trying to contest the point. And, ooh, that's very, very close. Can they get any healing? Is there any healing for them? Please, they're so sneaky. But no, it looks like RIT, they're able to contest. They have 3 now. Everybody, what? The respawn advantage. Yeah, absolutely, Spec.
Yeah, so I believe that's Evan BP and Nightmare, who unfortunately fell just a smidgen too early. That's no sustain for RIT, who were not able to close out, or BGSU, sorry, who weren't able to close out as quickly as necessary. And so they get a stabilization now. And even though they are on a more of a stool composition, it's still plenty strong and definitely some they can leverage, as long as they don't C9 the point, as they are a bit scared of, actually.
Yeah, for sure. And Minky, we don't know what they're like on the Doomfist, so they are trying to cause some havoc in there. The Suzu was used to get the cleanse him of the purple, and then we know that the cooldown on that has been elongated, so he's got to be careful now. But he's holding the stairwell quite effectively, just kind of charging in, jumping out, using that. No, the Meteor Strike. But can he find some purchase? No, he goes to the backline instead of finding an escape, and he's slamming into the Ana and just lays her down. So that's most of the healing going down. The focusing beam now onto Grant. Grant has to dive out of it, and he uses the Meteor Strike as well to save himself. But can he find anything with it? No, he does not. He has a huge heal from the Ilari to keep him back up, and they're still contesting this point. People flying around, jumping around, doing anything they can to get this card over the finish line or prevent it from doing so. Foliage finding 1 with the focusing beam, also at low health, but Rescue Toes comes to his rescue and tops him back up. Another defensive hold from the side of RIT.
Right now, RIT's closer spawns are paying off so well. Each one of these fights, they're going so back and forth, but in the end, they're just getting their respawns faster. BGSU, with their slower backline especially, are not getting their healers back into the fight, and they're losing out because of it. They have another shot here, but 1 minute left. They're running out of opportunities, Philly.
Yeah, it's getting dangerous. That fight on the stairs took so much time off the clock, and then it was just little skirmishes here and there. So we're going to have to see how BGSU, with no ultimates in the bank, decides to approach us. They're going to be waiting for Night Levels, but Night Levels gets taken down by Minky! Stunned and punched into the wall. Can they do anything after? Shady Snare does find 1 with a nice headshot on the Bieber, but can they find anything else? The pylon is down. It's a big bulk of the healing, but no, Minky comes diving in once again, finding the Ana, and he takes him down. So make the Grant now switching, trying to find his counterpart. Does find Minky in this small room, just laying in that shotgun, trying to take him down, but no, he's able to escape back to the rest of his team and gets right top back up. Only 20 seconds left on the clock now.
BGSU have charged into their ultimates though, so if they play slow, they will have a 4 ultimate fight here. This is the best opportunity yet, and RIT have just lost their Tracer!
The pulse bomb could have been huge, and now the EMP comes flying through, hacking a multitude of members on the side of RIT, and the duplicate now also for Shady doing the Doomfist. Can he do any work with it? Can he find something? There he does. Can he slam down Minky? Finding Evan once again. That's third time in a row he's found that Ana in the backline, but the cart has been slowly moving backwards, so it's not in danger just yet. Pibber comes flying back in, using that zip to great effect. He does have the pulse bomb, lays it through, but it hits the cart, but it's only one, just the doofus with the overtime tick burning. Oh my gosh, Grant just comes flying up, flying back down, just gets a slam in, but it's healed back up from the side of RIT. Can they find anything more? Just two people from the side of BGSU on the cart, trying to find some purchase, trying to find a kill, but Mickey says absolutely not. Another headshot.
That's a rough C9.
Whew. It was close, but the only two members from the side of BGSU were alive, and Minky was not letting them through. They said, "You shall not pass," and that is a nice hold from the side of RIT.
Yeah, getting their Gandalf on, but fortunately for them, this time not consigned to fall through many dimensions for an indeterminate amount of time. Yeah, that one's for all the Lord of the Rings megas in the audience. All three of you.
I appreciate that.
It's so good. Anyway, back to the Overwatch, at least for a little bit. Then, yeah, again, it was the close spawns from RIT. BGSU started out that fight so well, an early kill onto Pebble, and also advantage as well. I mean, what more could you ask for going into a final fight scenario? But RIT, with the Kiriko Lucio, will just always get back to fights faster. The Lucio utility is so useful in that regard. Of course, Kiriko as well with that swift step, also very, very nimble. And so they were just respawning faster. They could take more fights, and in those fights that didn't get instantly closed out, then they could leverage that advantage more to essentially have more lives. And so, yeah, humongous spawn advantage for RIT, bringing them over the line. Now BGSU on the defense have a tall task on their hands, a decent defense overall, but definitely could have had some more if they wished for it. Starting out on the Sigma, this is what they started out the series on. This is what they want to play more than anything else. And on the double flexible backline as well, they got plenty of damage. They want to poke and poke and poke. And RIT going for something a little bit more divey. Again, Rescue Shots now on the Mercy, going to pocket Foliage 57. And those right clicks, those sticky bombs could one shot if they all connect.
Yeah, that's going to be very scary, and it's going to be Night Levels who's going to keep Foliage in check, so we're going to be looking at that battle quite closely, but they're pestering that shield from Grant. He can't keep it up for very long, and so he has to use it sparingly, as there comes the sticky bombs, as you're mentioning, and Nightmare finds the pick on the Rescue Toast as they were trying to make their way through the choke, rather. I don't know if RIT is going to be able to push any further, or if they're going to have to regroup here and wait for Rescue Toast. So a failed push there, but let's see how they decide to recontest this one.
But crucially, they've already got Foliage onto that left side high ground. And on first point parity, so it's all about taking these kind of 3 high grounds successively. They've got one done. That's already progress, and now they can start working on the second.
Yeah, they're playing a chess match out here, right? Yeah, we sacrificed the pawn, but now we're in a better position to checkmate you in the future. So, but here comes Foliage moving to the low ground, actually. And there it goes, rocketing into the sky. And they're finding the dive here now as Minky goes onto Nightmare in the back line and takes him down. Minky starting every fight, every engagement in this match here. And he just get in the face of Night Levels there as well. Punches him right in the face, sends him back to spawn. But Shady Snare's not going down without a fight. But he finds, as I say that, Foliage takes him down as well, sends him back to spawn. This has to be the fight win for the side of RIT. They just a few more members left on the side of Bowling Green, and there was another punch from Mickey in the air as well to boot. A nice swag on him to find that the Baptiste in the air. But still, they're holding strong, BGSU.
Yeah, Nightmare Oswell has just respawned on the Alari, so there's still some sustain here, still some damage, but will it be enough? Holding so forward, actually, is Grant Scott, who is out of range of the Alari heals, and now respawning is Shady Snare, quickly taking down the Flux, invested, but doesn't connect onto anyone.
Wow, a duplicate has to be invested now for the side of Foliage. He just gets onto the Sigma, just launches a rock into the sky, trying to find anything to get this point in their favor, and they finally are able to cap it. Looks like they're going to be able to do it with just 1:45 left on the clock. They had to invest a few ultimates, but I think the big thing here, Spec, is that Pibber changed over to the Soldier to kind of contest Shady in the sky and the Alari as well. So I think that was a nice switch from him.
Yeah, scaling as Trace on first point parity so is a nightmare. Plenty of people have tried and no one's really figured out the optimal way of doing it. So yeah, Soldier's gonna be a lot easier to play. You have a little bit more range to play and a lot of the same off-angling power. So yeah, a judicious swap as you mentioned, but Night Levels, a judicious railgun invested to take care of Minky early on.
Yeah, Minky went for a solo dive, it looked like, and they just got picked off rather easily. So RIT gonna have to regroup here. They do have 3 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, so still plenty of time for multiple pushes. And here comes Minky, but on the back end as they're regrouping, Grant takes down Liam. but there are a number of ultimates here for them to work with. So 3 check boxes on both sides, so we might just have a Q battle on our hand spec. We're going to be looking out for it.
Yeah, very likely, but the duplicate, really the big tool for Shady Snare. Oh, a lovely punch though, off the high ground. That takes care of FMVP and instantly it's one ultimate that's not accessible for BGSU.
Oh my goodness, and then Toes follows up and gets a boop for them themselves. It's a boop city out here for everybody, just flying through duplicates and meteor strikes, but the Rescue Toes putting in the sound barrier to keep their team alive as they're trying to finish this fight now, as here comes the dual beam, just laying into everybody. Minky impressing me so much, getting the triple kill off of that one. Wow, really impressive stuff.
Minky has shown some real prominence on this Doomfist right now, almost running the server, and BGSU have not been able to keep up. So now almost 3 minutes to cap this final point. They have also advantage, their position advantage, and BGSU have to clutch up if they want to stay alive here.
And there's that opening pick from Night Levels once again, finding foliage in the sky with a rail headshot. But the attack visor comes in for Peeper. Can they keep him alive? They have invest some resources into him, but now he's on a terrible angle to even shoot anybody. And there goes the grasp as well from the Sigma. And Rescue Toast, does he find a boop or no? Just a finishing boop from them to find out Shady. Sorry, pardon me, but the overclock from Night Levels kind of keep everybody at bay. We're barreling into people, lasering them down, but Liam says no. Headshot from the skies to take him down. Here's the Gorilla Bucks. Is this the saving grace for the side of Bowling Green? Slams a couple people down with the Suzu. It protects them all from the final damage of that ability. And then the foliage just moving on to do that duplicate, trying to find something, but is at least just a little bit of health, a little bit of extra sustain for them. And they find some picks, 2, 3, is it? Yes! Minky does find one as well. This is going to be the push. The golden box of victory is right there. Minky 2v1. Can he do it? Just pushing people off the payload, trying to find anything to slam down. It does find Nightmares. He had to contest the payload. Woo! Wow, Minky, a 2v1. They're going to remember that for a lifetime as they battled both contestants from the side of Bowling Green for that win on Paraiso. Wow.
In the end, though, it's decided by a single empower punch from Minky, who is able to just knock the opposing tank back just a smidgen and just enough so that Grant is not contesting the point. That's brilliant play from the Doomfist, and Minky definitely stamping his name on the map here on Paraiso.
Yeah, I mean, when they switched to the Doomfist, we thought it was a stall hero at first, right? Because they were just trying to get back from spawn. But no, I think it was a tactical switch. They were like, okay, to get past the poke, to get past this slow moving, let's dive them. And Doomfist is the perfect hero to do it. And Minky was just all over the map, just laying into people, slamming them into walls, squishing them into the ground, gauntling right in the face. So it was a massive plays from them. That just a head on the swivel at that final point to get the cart to the golden box of victory. It was impressive stuff.
I mean, what else can you call it but that? And unfortunately for BGSU, they are going to be against series point. But I do believe before we get there, we're going to go to a quick break. And when we're back, we'll see the conclusion of RIT versus BGSU. Get there, because remember how fast these flashpoints take past. So some good decision making here could really separate these two teams. And BGSU, if they've got the ability to play just that, then that could be a great way to make some distance between them and RIT.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think we'll be seeing Sigma on this map here as we, you need the speed is the name of the game on Flashpoint, because you never know where the point is going to pop up and you're going to need to get your team there as quickly as possible. So Lucio, definitely a keystone member of each squad. And they even have the Junker Queen to add in the commanding shot for a little extra pace.
Night Levels is really odd. It's not something I've actually seen before. It's going to provide plenty of damage, but it also might be a bit of a vulnerability, one that RIT can most definitely exploit. So pay a lot of attention to that, because it could be a very feast or famine pick from Night Levels.
I mean, who is the target here for him? Like, is it just to hold choke and hold point, or is he going to be looking to take down Minky or another member on the squad? What do you think?
I think it would probably just be trying to get damage in, surely. Like he's doing right now from the high grounds.
There it is, and they just were able to push the side of RIT back, but as they were retreating, Foliage just snipes Shady through the air, and there goes Night Levels putting in those grenades onto Minky. This has to be the go button now for the side of Bowling Green. They got to move in and take the rest of the squad down so they can get the control point in their favor. They are moving back to cap it as well. Nightmare though on the Moira, which I like to see. This is a version of that brawl with the Lucia Moira backline, so that should be interesting. Another interesting pick for them as well. Let's see how RIT handles it. They decide to give up the first point.
Yeah, 20% accrued now, quickly ticking up. This is a long wrap from RIT, and they have to, again, walk into the Junkrat damage. So far, Night has been relatively quiet, but on the engage, we'll see if that changes.
Whoa, he just catapults himself into the backline trying to find something, and everyone scatters like flies, but it was a little too late as a double kill comes through for Night Levels, and Shady just follows right after, slicing and dicing Rescue Toast. Minky does find one, does take Night Levels down, says no more fun for you, Junkrat. We'll send you back to spawn, but it's a little too late as Bowling Green holds on once again.
That they do. 12%, loss, but I don't think that's a massive deal in the grand scheme of things. Remember how fast Flashpoint takes up, so that means one fight territory, at least here on market for RAT. They have some tools to re-engage. This Blizzard in particular could be huge. There's going to be no Immortality field to try and peel it out, so just going to have to be Lucio speed and a Dream. So if Foliage gets a good connection, that could be a quick conversion for RAT. BJC are going to have to play around it.
I don't know if they're expecting this rampage that could come outside from any minute from Grant, so he's looking, but Foliage just tosses in the Blizzard, trying to hold everybody down, but a nice beat coming in from Evan to keep everybody alive, and same with Rescue Toast to try to swing this one in their favor, and I think they will, as Peeper lays in a headshot onto Grant, and Minky finds Nightmare in the backline as well. The dominoes go falling over for the side of Bowling Green, and RIT is able to cap the point on this one and start accruing some percentage.
If RIT have an ult tracking correctly, they're going to know that Grantsko does have the rampage, and they know that neither team has a beat, so it's kind of a tale of two towns, only in this case it's whoever goes first that's going to be the decider. So Minky's going to be looking for a fast rampage, very likely, because if a big purple connects, it could be over for one of these teams.
Oh my gosh, he just nailed a couple of them on the backline, and there it goes. Night Level's trying to turn the tides with a heroic tire, but wasn't able to find anything on the back of it. A massive play from the side of Minky, just barreling through the line of Bowling Green and just sending them all back to spawn. A big stagger there for them as well. This is a nice hold for them.
A beautiful play from RAT. An amazing job recognizing their win conditions and how to play around them. An early window as well to make this touch onto the point as hard as possible, but MVP has snuck and able to get onto the point unmarked.
Oh, do they even see him? Do they even know that he's there? No, but he has to go back to the rest of his team because they need the healing. But he was able to tick overtime at the last waning moments of those percentage. But can they flip the point? He's dancing now along the point to try to keep it incontested. But the Foliage on the May just laying in the frost beam to everybody that they can see. And a huge sound barrier comes out for Rescue Toast once again to save the day. Will it be enough? Two members on the side of RT doing everything they can to keep the point in their favor. Rescue Toast does find one with a nice headshot, but the overclock coming in from the side of Peeper. Can he find some more? He does. What? A massive hold for the side of RT, and they take first point.
And it was expensive, but they get the point. That's all you need in the end of the day. And now both sides absolutely skint. No ultimates across the board. And as we head into Palace, then it's just going to be a battle of mechanics to see who decides the early positioning for RIT as punishment, or as payment, for winning out the first map, and BGSU on the outside looking in.
Yeah, Rescue Toast, the absolute savior there with that dying sound barrier and then finding a headshot as well in the back of it. So a big fight win for them. Now they're going to contest this little doorway here. They do have the May to block it off. We've seen them do it before. Oh, okay, I thought it was a kill with the dagger, but it wasn't. The axe comes flying through, chopping through the side of Bowling Green. They're thwarting their advance here through this doorway. The May blocking it once again with the icicle. Another axe coming through, and a rampage annihilating a couple of the members on the side of Bowling Green. They won't be able to survive this. No way, no how. Another axes goes swinging through the members, and they're just tumbling down. A rampage, what? For the side of Bowling Green, trying to do everything they can to keep up. And here comes the Coalescence, the Kamehameha, to just barrel through everybody. Two for the side of Nightmare as he's blasting people in the face with that beam. And they need to capture the point now. The percentage still accruing for the side of RIT. They're okay with this for now, but finally the fight is won for Bowling Green.
Yeah, the late rampage was the tool that got them over the line there. The Coalescence as well, so it was a little bit more expensive for BGSU than they would have liked, but a fight win is a fight win, percentage is percentage, and a flip is a flip, so they're not too mad at all. Foliage though, one tap Shady Snare. Now that is not how they wanted to get this defense started off.
Absolutely not, and Shady's so close to that pulse bomb, which could have been a difference maker, and then Minky just like, okay, we got this, friends. Let's just go in with that commanding shout. I'm willing you forward to bowl over these rest of these members here, but Night Levels has something to say about it as he launches in those grenades and those mines and just clowning around trying to find some eliminations, and he finds 2, but Foliage has something to say as well as they find 2 on their end, and they're trying to keep the point. There's 3-1 contestant now, and RIT is able to flip it.
That they are, and that means they're gaining percentage fast. They're consistently using these Mabels actually to boost Minky onto this kind of alcove to allow some pressure from the Junk Queen, and Minky's been finding some absurd value from this spot. So BGSU, they have one more shot here. Night Levels has another Riptire and has been pretty quiet with them so far, only been taking care of Lamps. For this fight, this can win out fights, but it just gets destroyed.
Yeah, that was it was too predictable. We could see that tire coming from a mile away, and so it was just sniped out from the buckshot of Minky, and Minky is just not letting anybody through, being the bodyguard, the gatekeeper, the raid boss, whatever you want to call it, and just killing everybody on the side of Bowling Green. One final member trying to contest, but to no avail. Shady Snares also sent back to spawn. Another point win for the side of RT.
And you have to give that entire point all the glory goes towards Minky, who was absolutely the powerhouse that powered RIT there. Now, 2-0, BGSU have one final shot here because they are just a single flashpoint away from losing out the series. And here on Temple is where they're going to have to make their final stand. They have a Rampage. They're close to a Coalescence. This has been enough for them before, but will it be enough for them again here?
Grant, yeah, has that Rampage like you were mentioning, and this could be the saving grace, the one that will allow them to cap the point first. They were able to get to there as they had the spawn advantage. They got a little lucky. Here comes the Rampage going through, gets 3 of them. Rescue Toast a little bit late to save Liam, and Minky is so low. Will they be able to be topped up? I don't think so. There's 2 down for the side of RIT. Will they do anything to contest this? No, looks like they're going to back off as Shady is just taking down the stragglers. Pibber decides to jump off the edge to go back to spawn.
And that's about as close to the worst case scenario as you can get for RIT. Using the beat and the Rampage in a losing fight is a big investment for very little out, and so BGSU about as happy as they could be given the circumstances. Yes, there are still tools for RIT, but it's going to be a little bit harder to leverage the Blizzard and the Overclock in this particular fight. They're going to have to fight desperately for the space first to utilize them, and BGSU are looking to take away as much as possible.
Wow, these shots from Foliage just finding so much purchase, so much damage, and there's that wall. Oh, so close, but the Grant able to just escape it, and there comes the Blizzard trying to lock everybody in place. Who does it find? It does find Grant, and they do capitalize on that as Pibber lays the overclock in and takes him down at 100%, but Nightmare just throws in the orb of damage to just take him down and cancel that ultimate. Are they able to hold? No, the team kill comes through for RIT, and they're able to flip the point in their favor.
Yeah, BGSU, I'm very curious to see what they do with this Dragon Blade. Actually, Shady Snare has one, Night Levels, a Blizzard as well, but there's nothing really to follow up with the Dragon Blade, so gonna have to be some clever play to get some big value out of it. Obviously, an ultimate that can be, more than a little bit easy to shut down, so Judicially Timed Lamp, a nice headshot could put an end to that particular play, but a very aggressive hold actually from Minky, trying to get as many resources out as possible, but a lovely Maywell makes it much more awkward.
Whoa, he was almost did not escape there, and I think Rescue Toast had to sacrifice their life, but Minky said, I will not let you die in vain, as he gets one on the back end, but the Blizzard comes tossed in from the side of Night Levels. It does claim Pieper, and then Grant goes too with a double dagger kill to finish them off, and just Minky remains on the point, but can he survive using the commanding shout to accrue as much percentage as they can? And they do, but they do get the point, and it will be flipped now for the side of BGSU, but they have some ground to make up.
76%, that was not too bad at all. Last fight territory for both these teams. Elimination point for BGSU. They have double supportals, almost a Rampage to do it with. This is one of their best fights. Yeah, RIT will only have the Rampage, but that has been enough for them before. If it goes to a slow fight, they may even charge into the overclock. But 95%, someone has to touch.
Yeah, Foliage leads in with the wall just to get a little bit of touch there.
Big purple!
Huge on 4 members. Evan has to put the sound barrier in immediately, and the Coalescence comes flying out to put the healing and the damage. Will it find enough? Pieper somehow goes flying off the edge. Maybe a mistaped slide, but Rescue Toast just invests the sound barrier with only 3 members remaining. Foliage will not let that go in vain. He's fine. Shady Snare on the other side of it, uses the ice block to stay alive, but cannot. Lays down the Blizzard as their dying breath to try to lock everybody in place, and Minky just going forward with the axe, with the dagger, with the buckshot, trying to find Evan, who's just dancing around on the point. point as Lucio's doing the axe to the face, takes him and sends him back to spawn. One final member, Rescue Toes, keep doing everything they can to keep their tank alive, and they're doing it to great effect. And there's the dagger to the face. Minky and Rescue Toes salvaging this point and moving it to their favor. Huge fight for them.
That was so close. Now 83%. It's going to be another dry fight to decide the map. We've seen so many of them before. And RIT know what they have. They're pushing forward. They're trying to make a touch impossible. But Shady says snip the net. We'll be able to dash onto the point. No, he won't!
What? Wow, that ice block at the end just routed them, and they didn't know which path to take. And so they couldn't get to the point in time. A huge 3-0 victory for the side of RIT over Bowling Green State University.
3-0, yes, but it was definitely competitive all throughout. I do think this is one of the maps or the series we've seen before where, you know, the score doesn't truly inform how the game has went, and it was very back and forth inside the map, but every time the going got tough, every time that it got more than a little bit scary, the tough got going, and in this case, that was RIT.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a lot of these crucial ultimates that just came through. Like if it was a Rampage or a Blizzard or the sound barriers keeping everybody up, right? It was just one Q away from victory or defeat between these two sides. It was the timing for each of these impactful ultimates was crucial for these sides. So yeah, 3-0 victory for RIT, but definitely, you know, we'd like to see this matchup come again. Minky, super impressive on the side of RIT with that Doomfist, even on the Junker Cream, putting in those rampages, and the dagger, got a double dagger kill. Like, that was amazing. So it looks like we will have Minky actually for an interview, but we're going to go to a quick break before we do so. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back, everybody. We have the amazing Minky in the voice chat for you all. He is the tank player for the side of RIT. Minky, how you doing after that victory?
Hello, good. It was a great game.
So you were saying, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, of course, you mentioned, you know, a little bit earlier in our chat that you are actually just coming in for a sub. I mean, you put in a fantastic performance for a substitute. So, I mean, talk me through the kind of the mood in the team, what happened, you know, before you were subbed in, and if you tell us if you almost got any like scrim time together, because it looked practiced.
So I haven't scrimmed with the rest of. I've only played with Foliage. We were on the same team in this league too, last year, but we haven't scrimmed at all. And Seb is, I think, currently on a plane, so I was subbed in for him. But it was fun. The first map I just kind of needed some getting used to. I didn't do that well on the first Busan map, but then I think I caught up towards the end of it.
That's one way of putting it. And then about your hero picks as well, were you just kind of following your team's compositions and, you know, slotting in, or were you kind of just picking whatever felt natural at the moment?
Well, the way I've usually played, because historically I've been a Doom player, I try to go with what I think is right, and then if what I think is right is not proper, I'll go comfort. So I'll pull out my Doom, or on Saravasa I love playing JQ, so I got to play both at that point. But yeah, sometimes I go down to comfort pick, but a lot of the time it's whatever feels right on the map and in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of your comfort pick, it looks like that's what happened on Pariso. As you know, you were doing the Sigma at first, and it just didn't seem to go very well. So you're like, all right, we're switching to Doom, which we thought was just like a stall pick at first, just to get back to the point. But I think for you, just as you're talking to us now, that was the comfort pick. So was that your mentality on that map?
Yeah, well, initially it was I want to get back fast, and also I think I can hold this on Doom, and then and then yeah, it ended up going my way.
Absolutely. Yeah, you had massive meteor strikes. You had punches off the edge for environmental kills. You were all over the place, slamming into people, just wreaking havoc and doing massive amounts of damage. So, well done. Is there anybody you want to shout out while you're on the cast?
Just the rest of the team, they're all great people. And I was happy to get the sub today. It was a fun game. So, and our coaching staff is great. They do a lot of work. But yeah, just the team and all you guys for helping running this. It's a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Minky, it's been a pleasure. For all of you folks at home, we still have one more match here on the EGF Overwatch stream. We have William and Mary and the University of Connecticut coming up for you at 9 o'clock. So stay tuned for that one.
Take care. Good night.
EGFC Season 5 is back with a banger for you on our hands. William and Mary going up against the University of Connecticut. My name is Spectrian, and new, at least to the broadcast tonight, we have Martineva.
Yes, hello. I am back every week. I'm always here. Every week at 9:30-ish. We're back here today to see these two teams duke it out for... to go forward in bracket. It is week 4, I believe. It's kind of flying by really fast here, and we've seen a lot from both teams here. William and Mary, consistently some of the best we've seen. Not even just in Overwatch, in other games as well. And then University of Connecticut, they're starting to get back in their groove, especially after having a little bit of a rough start in the season already.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So I think we're going to have to give a bit of an advantage to William and Mary, at least in this particular game. University of Connecticut maybe fighting an uphill battle from the get-go, but there's always, I think, a chance to come back. There's always, in a game like Overwatch, an opportunity to level the playing field with some judicious choices, with a nice shot hit or two, and I think it's also a game where just one player stepping up and making the difference can make these games plenty closer. So without further ado, we should take a look at all the players in the server, those ones who can or maybe should step up. And here we in William and Mary, Rival, Naisu, XZD, Max for the win, Nuclear Armor. Many of these players returning from the last year, and from University of Connecticut, of course, Nels, YouTube Kelp, Rich, Tisguys, and Samo JBK?
Samo.
Samo it is.
Samo it is. So again, here are the rosters you're gonna have for tonight. Gonna be release stacked, like you said. Pretty much all of William and Mary esports team coming right back for season 5, which is so exciting. We're already like in season 5 and everything. We're kind of going nice with the collegiate stuff, right? Oh my goodness. In the map pool, if we can get that loaded up real fast. It's gonna be best of 5. I'm sorry, best of 5, first to 3 territory, and these are the maps for this week. We have Busan for Control, Paraiso, and Servasa, Watchpoint Gibraltar, and last but not least, New Queen Street. Now, Busan, in terms of control point, I think is probably one of my favorites. Locally, just because it's not as enclosed as something like Lijiang Tower, for example. And so things kind of change a little bit. A lot more flexibility does happen on Busan more than anything else.
Yeah, there's definitely some truth to that statement. To be honest, I like all my control maps equally. You know, it's like asking a mother to pick between their favorite children. But, you know, I think we saw 3 of these maps in the last game, so the 2 at the end, to be Watchpoint in Gibraltar and New Queen Street, I do believe. We haven't seen yet. I would kind of like this series to go to at least 3-1 because I do love me some Watchpoint, but William and Mary, University of Connecticut, we're heading in and we're starting off here in Sanctuary. We can take already a look at what these 2 teams are playing, and right now it's more of the Sigma we've been seeing across the board. Actually, it's very, very dominant here. You know, Rival and Nelsie was hovering Spectre for a bit, but very likely just going to be for the TP out to spawn, swapping to Sojourn to slide out to get a little bit of earlier positioning. But in the full mirror, it's all about landing those headshots on the Sojourn, and it's all about landing some strong Maywalls. And Isolation there can get an early pick, but a headshot as well. I mean, it does the job in a little bit more of a succinct manner. So, yeah, doors open, coming out, and yeah, Rival swapping over to the Sojourn. Nothing surprising here.
Yep, and look at this. We're starting over by the Gong in the Temple. Such a great position to have as Sigma, as is Pokemon, that both teams are repping with the kind of, with the support backline as well of Lucio and Bab, because a lot of survivability to our 2 tanks here, who are just duking it right out. No land power on the side University of Connecticut, because they have to kind of fall back a little bit as Bab needs to keep that team alive even longer. Ooh, ZX is walled off, but it's not going to be him who falls. It's going to be the opposite, Rich, on the side of Connecticut, falling, and then everyone else kind of goes down one by one. Lucio, you gotta get out of there, buddy, but the slope and maze freeze does not allow them to.
That was a great wall coming through from YouTube Kelp, but unfortunately not enough killer instinct coming through from the University of Connecticut, who weren't able to follow up, and so William and Mary turn the tables back on them, and they've got first cap. Exited actually 80% to a Gravitic Flux, but Max FTW more than likely to have the first ultimate.
This was a great wall, a great shield from Z right here, and the wall also kind of saved him a tiny bit there, utilizing the Grid Flux in the Temple, gonna be taking out the tank once more, and the entire team is kind of stuck on this mega position. No mega in sight though, forcing our Nels to get out of there as quick as possible. Couldn't SD quite fast enough, so they got a little bit of ult charge for Rival off of that kill.
Yeah, that's a crazy fast flux. I mean, Richie's still at 70% of his. I mean, yeah, that's ridiculous from XZD, who right now is the difference maker for William and Mary. That's why they're at 50%. And now, having to only invest the 2 ultimates, Nisu's Blizzard is now online. University of Connecticut don't have the beat yet to counter this out.
Absolutely not. And look, we're going to be transitioning a fight from the high ground over to the main point, which I kind of agree with. They're going to pop the one on the corner. They're forcing the entirety of Will and Mary to have to stay on the opposite side of this Gong in the middle of the Temple. Utilizing the Blizzard there again. Rich gone for the count, and then your Lucio to get out of there is not going to be able to. So that's another pretty much wipe for Will and Mary to keep this point under control.
Every cloud has a silver lining. In this case, for the University of Connecticut, it will be their ultimate bank. They're about to have 4 online into only the beat of Nuke Llama, the overclock of Rivals. So a massive advantage here that they need to leverage effectively. And if there's any fight they need to win out here, it is this one, their last attempt. If not, William and Mary will be taking Sanctuary in pretty short order.
Alright, there is a Griffith Flux on the side of University of Connecticut, and topping it with the May Freeze, the Blizzard. Not gonna be enough though, as you do get that beat down and under. Yeah, good, no! Z and Nisu both go down for the count, and finally University of Connecticut gets some points on the board here as we push Will and Mary back to their spawn. Thankfully, the support, Max was able to get out of there relatively nice.
It was, a nice attempt. It was a nice attempt at peel, really. When the flux came through, Max lamped it first. They tried to greed the beat, knowing full well the Blizzard was coming out, but combining the 2, yeah, even the beat's not enough, and so, yeah, Exit did fall, and now repushing in is William and Mary. They've got out the strong ult fight for University of Connecticut, so they could just turn this momentum back, but a lovely May will make that so much harder.
All right, that's not going to be ZDZ going down quite yet, even though he was walled off. It's instead going to be, again, a reversal of positioning, a reversal of the dominance here, having to force out the overclock, and then the entire team kind of just says, we can just hide behind this great cover here. Cover does not expire like shields do. So, University of Connecticut just has to kind of retreat and force off the point. Look at this. All right, overtime started here.
Yeah, they need to live until Samo can get back with the beat, invest early. These trades are going 1-for-1, but the flux from EGFC too strong. The kills, all of them failing for Wither, William, and Mary. And bar just a smidgen of cleanup. Bar a token attempt at resistance with the window. Then it looks like it will be William and Mary taking this 99 to 54%.
Yeah, they should now. Having to go over to the ball, Rich is definitely gonna try to contest as long as possible, utilizing the adaptive shields, utilizing ball speed, but C9 off the point. Got a little too speedy in that moment and just kind of launched himself off the point, allowing Will and Mary to get a 100 to, I believe you said 54%.
Yeah, that it is, and I think the big difference maker there would be the value that each team was getting off of their Mables. Nisu's were consistently followed up on. Unfortunately, YouTube Kelp, while it has been finding some very good isolations, the University of Connecticut as a whole has not really been able to get the same amount of kill power off of them. EGFC has been living too long, and whether that's a mistake on University of Connecticut or representative of just how strong the backline of William and Mary are, I'll leave that to you, the viewers, to decide. But either way, that has been the big difference maker, the thing that decides the fights between these two teams. And right now, on downtown, that could continue to be a pain point for the University of Connecticut.
Alright, you see the different approaches we're going here. You know, William and Mary going to the main, and University of Connecticut taking the high ground into where the Mega is. The wall off is going to be huge for the supporters not to be able to heal their tank right here. Might be in a little bit of trouble, forcing the lamp out, and that's a lamp gone and dusted. A wall is there, but Z has kind of been able to get out of these very quickly, and again, without fail, gets out of that situation, and it kind of keeps himself alive as the rest of the University of Connecticut may be falling here, and they absolutely do. Unfortunately, unable to really capitalize off of that Mega in the back while they were holding that area.
An interesting idea to take the Mega Room, but unfortunately it does take away plenty of your angles. That means William and Mary can surround you, can collapse upon you, and get a pretty quick conversion. So they're on the board pretty quick, like about 10% up, and with their defensive positioning, they should be very, very hard to dislodge.
Absolutely, and I love the positioning from both, from William and Mary right here. Kind of on the high ground, but playing the main very well. Taking Rival out immediately with a quickness. Beautiful headshot from YouTube Kelp there to kind of secure, hopefully secure this next team fight in the favor of University of Connecticut as they continue to spy up on the main area. Z does go down relatively quickly though, and this should be able to clear a way for University of Connecticut to actually contest and get the point in their favor much faster than did on the previous map.
A lovely rock from Rich to close it out, and yeah, as you mentioned, much faster. It was YouTube Kelp who opened up proceedings, a headshot onto Rival, just a stray icicle connecting, and from there it was just a numbers advantage that UOC were more than happy to convert. They're in a great spot now. The Blizzard online, the window online, and more than a couple other checkmarks just on the horizon. William and Mary now going to have to push into defensive positioning for the first time, and another great Mabel this time will be punished.
Yep, finally, beautiful follow through from the entirety of University of Connecticut. Got the tank walled off, got the lamp out, and was able to it was able to take care of XZD very quickly, unfortunately for William and Mary. But now University of Connecticut finally having the advantage in percentages here, and honestly, a really good position as well. What can the Pokemon do against a Pokemon that has so much space at their disposal?
I mean, throw ults to the problem is normally the answer, and the first one invested there, but frozen up by the Blizzard!
That's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. Sigma about to say the rawest line in history, and he just freezes. Oh, so unfortunate, but I love this push. Look at this. Unafraid and pushing them back to their spawn and then resetting the situation, going back to what has been working the entire time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
I mean, fair enough, and right now it clearly isn't. Oh, coming for a wrap round the corridor, but this time there's a Flux there to punish it.
Okay, this is kind of what happened with University of Connecticut. They were in this room at some point, and they got cornered off. So maybe University of Connecticut can learn off of that and utilize it in their advantage. Overclock gonna be here, taking care of supports. No, utilizing the beat drop So smart from Samuel right there to keep the teammates alive even longer. But the freeze does come out, takes care of Bridge with a quickness, and that is a 95%. They had to go on point now and take it as soon as possible, and they certainly do. Beautiful team fight, beautiful Blizzard, and beautiful follow through on the side of William and Mary.
That's exactly what you love to see. But from William and Mary, they want to close out in 2. They're going to play perfectly from now on. So University of Connecticut, they can bide their time. They can bide their ultimates. And William and Mary going to have to continue to invest because they need to close out fight after fight after fight. And so it might be a point in control of William and Mary, but it's still very, very awkward for them here.
It is, especially as, you know, we do see William and Mary getting pushed back so much so that Nisu does fall very quickly back all by their lonesome. Max does go down. This is still in a really good position for University of Connecticut, as unfortunately, Z, I don't know what we're sucking. We can't suck the May secondary. I'm sorry, or primary. I'm sorry. That's not how that works. I think that's also the biggest thing here. May is just a big thorn in Sigma's backside. You're low, you want to get a little bit of suck, a little bit of health back, and no. She's spraying you with spray paint. Like, no, you can't do that.
But yeah, there we go. We do see the flip come through. So 1-on-1 here. I think the big difference maker was a couple things, actually. Firstly, we got momentum on the board much earlier for the University of Connecticut. That really allowed them to start getting their own ult snowballed and put the screws onto William and Mary. And another thing, kind of having such a strong choke, it's much easier to punish, I think, than in that kind of drum room that we saw all the punches come through. As well, just having that one big choke means you don't have to really think about all the other angles nearly as much. We only saw, a single attempt, maybe 2, from William and Mary to try and access any other lanes. So that means you can have all your focus on one area of the map, much easier to play into. And in that particular environment, at least, University of Connecticut, they come out on top. And Ryan come from William and Mary, running into more Sigma. We'll see if this change makes a difference.
Ooh, I love when there's a Ryan on the team, and I don't love when, oh man, already rival down for the count. It's already a 1v4, I'm sorry, not 1v4, a 4v5 you have to deal with for William and Mary, and it looks like it's gonna be cleaned up very quickly. Nels on the Sojourn, cleaning it up so nicely. Beautiful stuff, beautiful railgun, beautiful everything.
And the reason why it's rare to see Reinhardt compositions nowadays with the Sojourn Mei is because most teams have realized that you can punish the walks. You can punish when Reinhardt tries to get close to you, so you can get that hammer into action. And so you need something to allow you to walk easier. Normally it's Bastion, but this time they're trying to use the Lucio speed to accomplish the same purpose.
Again, now it's just kind of popping off here, getting the damage in, and honestly, laying the rest of the team, clean everything up. Make sure that we push the William and Mary team down back to their spawn, and they can continue to control this point as it gets to 30% and more.
They're so comfortable right now. They have choke control, and William and Mary really going to struggle to try and break it with the tools they currently have online. Really no ultimates on the board. They don't have any big cooldowns that can allow them the space, so instead they're going for another wrap, but then Lucio gets isolated.
I like the idea from William and Mary to kind of take an off angle to go completely around, but when your Lucio is down for the count, you're kind of forced to back up a little bit. That is your go in and go out guy. When he's out, you gotta be really careful.
There's no Sigma alive, so they know how they have an advantage here. Rich is going to respawn much slower, so pushing forward, yeah, Nels taken down.
Alright, this is huge. Shatter is on board here. Do it. Aw, solo Shatter. Do it. It's May. I know you want to. You have better control than I ever will, but YouTube help does go down for the count, and that's the shot I was looking for, and the pin into into oblivion. You love to see it. I love Ryan. I love Ryan so much. He's so goofy.
Honestly, you might as well just like emigrate to the EU right now, because I mean every game is Reinhardt over here. But William and Mary right now, they are living the lifestyle as a full-on EU team. They get the Reinhardt going finally, and it's much stronger on the defense here. When they have choke control, they can punish it exactly like this.
There's a huge window, but so is that not Zarya over here. So was that Gravitic Flux, and that's huge to kind of negate the window that that Rabbit was about to abuse right there. But again, kind of allowing the team to follow through and clean everything up. Rich was unable to really get anything off of the Flux, and the entire team of William Mary is able to hold this point even longer. And even this little choke area where University of Connecticut is literally just trying to walk. They're trying to get out. They're trying to get something started here. Unethical horse pick, first of all. Rich going over to Orisa.
Yeah, it gets ruled off, but yeah, won't be punished for it. And dropping off the space now is WNM. They need to see just a little bit so they can re-engage much stronger. But right now they're just winning out the HP trades.
Absolutely. And even though Ryan is good sometimes, that just happens where you go in a little bit too far, and you took up does take care of the tank for William Mary. Orisa does have a lot of survivability here, so with the support on her backside, she shouldn't be dying anytime soon. This could be a little bit of some trouble for William Mary, but here, my God, you came back really fast. Reinhardt here, ready, shatter, do it, do it, do it. Yes! Yeah! Good shatter, but excellent window to parry that.
Yeah, the HP, though, again, so low and so rival on the Sojourner can really begin getting to work. Rich going to be the first to fall, and the Mei will onto the Mei is going to make it so uncomfortable for YouTube Kelp. Still manages to drop the Blizzard, and so XZD will be traded for their efforts. Blizzard onto the point now at 99%. They know for a fact, do William and Mary, that all they have to do is close out the last couple stragglers of Connecticut. Nels makes a token effort, a railgun onto Nuke, Llama connects, and Rich now back on the Orisa with the Terror Surge, may catch one, and does, flattens Max. And now in the Icebox taken down, there are just 2 versus 2. The respawns from both sides trickling onto the point, but XD now on the Doomfist, on the cleanup crew, taking care of one. But there's more people coming back from both sides of the equation. The kills are all red in the kill feed. University of Connecticut, they're coming back into this. The Wrecking Ball to get this stall going further and further. Nicely frozen up, taken down. 85% University of Connecticut. Great back control, but it was so close. And now William Mary have to struggle to touch it again.
Yeah, William Mary maybe not going to be able to get to this point unless they wrap around really quickly. Doomfist going to be able to touch, and Doomfist does. Z is on the point by himself, however. Rich does fall. So that's really big for William Mary. They have a tank, and University of Canada does not. So can they contest even longer? I'm loving the swap. We have Kiriko, we have Tracer. Kiriko doesn't care the Tracer, though. Nisu gone for the count. It looks like it's going to be more red over here than blue over here, Spec. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it as they see the fact that, okay, teleport back to stage, or back to the platform, and then boom. You can't do anything. Who's pulsed? No one got pulsed. But University of Connecticut is falling slowly but surely. William Mary is just taking care of everything, taking care of business. The beat drop able to get everything back secured in their favor, and then 100% on the board, 199. 1 point over to William Mary, taking it 2-1 over University of Connecticut on control point. Busan. Oh my goodness.
And that was a fantastic effort from the University of Connecticut. They brought all guns blazing to Busan here, and it was this close. Decided by millimeters was this game, but it did fall the way of William and Mary. When the going got tough, and they were the ones who got going, they were able to punish a couple mistakes, and I think that slow start we saw from University of Connecticut really came back to bite them, because especially in the latter half of that Busan, they showed that they were here to play.
Yeah, absolutely. They were here to play around. It actually got so worrisome because they were all like straggling in to point. They were all coming in one by one at first, second, maybe 2 at a time. And there was definitely more more William and Mary teammates than there was University of Connecticut. At some point, they kind of almost had us. They almost got point and everything, but the last minute doom swap from William and Mary from Z was able to kind of just clutch it out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It was a lovely attempt to try and touch the point. Once the Doomfist is there, then everyone has to come back, try and clear out the Doomfist. That opens up so much space for the rest of your team, and that's how William and Mary were able to get onto the point, and from there, just absolutely heroic efforts to clutch it out. But it's not like we haven't seen that effort before in just the previous fight. In fact, that's exactly what we saw from the University of Connecticut, just straggling onto the point and just able to play the respawn game just a little better, and able to stay on the point, stay alive on the point just a little bit longer, but unfortunately not going their way. And so University of Connecticut, yeah, they lose their map, but they show that they can fight, and now heading into map 2, Paraiso, they can live that bring that level of performance that we saw on Downtown, bring that level of performance we saw on Mecha Base, and it could be another map where this goes close.
It absolutely should, especially because they play I don't want to say they play similar, but they're not afraid of really getting each other's face, especially when they're playing that Sigma typically poke comp, right? But you saw how many times those Sigmas were touching faces. They were duking it out, and the rest of the team going a really standard brawl comp for like the DPS and the supports was very interesting to see as well. You know, typically it's gonna be the Rhine or the Ramatra, you know, tagging along with the DPSs and the supports like that. But no, the Sig is so good at just stuffing out all of those options from the other side's DPSs and the supports. So to see what we can do on Paradiso, where it's very flexible, you know, the first point on defense, good at poke. You can definitely go poke and definitely go brawl. And then the same side on the attack side, you can go any of them if you want to. I've seen poke, I've seen brawl, I've seen dive as well. Dive the supports in the backline, come back, and then you can just cap point. Lots of flexibility here for Paradiso as well. So I'm really excited to see what both teams kind of come up with on their respective defense and attack phases.
I think Paradiso, a map where you can play everything as you mentioned, but I do think it lends itself most well to poke. So considering how these teams love to play the Sigma anyway, I find it hard to believe we won't be seeing some variation of the Sigma, Illari, BAP compositions. I think we've seen plenty of them here already today, and I think we're very likely to see more of them. I think that just because of how open, especially the first point is, then that's what ends up being played more times than not, but we will have to wait and see exactly what they're playing. But yeah, exactly that from William and Mary. Actually interesting, nice is on the Junkrat here that they've played before, but yeah, over to the Echo. This makes much more sense. Pretty bog standard composition, just looking to take angles, play slow, and hope that a headshot comes through from pretty much any member across the team, actually, because all of these 5 players have the ability to take you out the server pretty quick. Like in University of Connecticut, from what we're seeing so far, looking like they want to TP onto the high ground and take space using that tool, hoping that the 5-man unit is enough to displace the normally more split members of William and Mary, but it's very tough to execute properly, and they have plenty of walking to do. That's walking where Rival, Naisu, XZD, Max, FDW, and Nuclearma could all punish you. So lots of pressure on to YouTube Kelp and Samo. In fact, all of the University of Connecticut to rotate properly. And William and Mary, all they have to do is sit back and hit their shots.
Absolutely, and you know that that Rival does hit those shots. We saw the cam. We saw that both Rival and Naus have really good hit rates and accuracy. So there you are. You're saying about the teleport earlier. That's the method we're going for. We're going to be hiding out in this little rooftop area with the bridge because it gives us a good amount of cover, gives us a lot of space to work with, and if we need to fall back, it's so easy to do. So Rival, like I was saying earlier, hitting that shot on this guy, and that forces University of Connecticut kind of back up a little bit.
And it's interesting actually that William and Mary are electing to play solely on the point. Often teams will play on that first bridge and force the opponents to take away map control from them sequentially. Instead, by the looks of things, William and Mary happy enough to defend from this high ground. And while what it does lack in cover, it makes up for in sight lines. So right now, plenty of glass cannons for William and Mary. We see that more than a couple of times. Plenty of pressure onto the BAP and forcing point right now. YouTube Kelp the first to fall.
Yeah, to get the first to fall, and that's not how that works, Rich. We went over this already. So that Echo is going to be, again, another pain in Sigma's backside. The combo that, you know, that Echoes can do so well, that's going to be eating up Sigma's life force, Sigma's resources as well. It's just going to be a pain to deal with. So honestly, priority target besides the supports should definitely be Nisu on the Echo, just absolutely dominating right now.
And it's really hard to, you know, shut it down. You don't really have access to consistent hit scans. What with YouTube Kelp on the Sojourn. This guy, the only real consistent hit scan pressure. Nels, of course, projectile till the railgun is online. And it's a lovely angle, just pumping damage in from Naisu.
That's a really good amount of sticky bombs we did set on that bridge there. Good healing from the side of University of Connecticut. Gonna keep them alive a little bit longer. No teleport, that's huge. No Lucio either. Look what I'm talking about. The combo. Lucio just evaporated, poor guy. Now it's taking out Rival, however, in the Soldier 1v1, and Z falling right through with taking care of Tis guys as well. Again, forcing University of Connecticut just kind of fall back really quickly, and unfortunately, it's not gonna be enough. The suck was not enough for that extra health. Flux taking the lead, taking the team back to their spawn.
It adds a cheap fight to win as well. William and Mary have banked up their ultimates. They got 4 on the board. They're going to equal what the University of Connecticut have. But Connecticut, they're going to look to take a slow fight. They want to build into this B if possible. They want to build into this Flux if possible, which means they don't have to go quickly at all. William and Mary, they want to kill them before they have a chance to charge into any of those ultimates. So look for an aggressive play from William and Mary.
I'm loving where Z and and Rival are kind of platformed on this bridge here. They're being so difficult. Beautiful wall. They're being so difficult with this
Chasing so
area,
deep.
and it is going to be Soldier popping the overclock as well as the wall. Gonna use all the ultimates here in order to just kind of cap point, which is very expensive to deal with.
There's so many ultimates going on across the board, but Nuclear Armor's Capture Sun actually getting eaten, but does make it a smidgen harder for William and Mary. And Max has been under so much pressure this entire time, finally does go down, and so all the pressure onto the Baptiste paying off for University of Connecticut. Nisu, Exodus fighting it back. This fight is not over yet, but Flux invested, trying to make this ends meet. The focusing beam does not get a chance to complete its function, and here, just Nuclear Armor on and off angle. Looks like University of Connecticut will cap out first. William and Mary, though, they burned plenty of time off the bank, and University of Connecticut were made to sweat for it.
Oh wait, Nuclear Armor getting a pick here.
Surely it's just a stagger, right?
Yeah, it's just a stack. What can you do? And ER doesn't have anything to, you know, respawn herself besides just jumping off, and they were not letting that happen. Now look at the switch here. We are going to be going over to the kind of a dive comp here. Echo definitely works here very well, but Winston and Ana are going to be very fun to deal with, and thankfully on the side of University of Connecticut, that Ana should be able to survive a lot longer than against another dive comp, because there's no one here besides maybe Sim who can kind of deal with her from long range. Now, I'm not sure about the Winston against the Symmetra, however.
I think it's definitely playable, pushing in as long as you can get onto the backline, and Rich unfortunately missing a rope that could have got the final blow, but YouTube kept there to do it instead. Fighting on the point now are both teams, but a humongous anti-nade coming through from Max is going to force back plenty of space, but it means that there's no tools now to punish the teleporter, except for the captive summon that connects only onto the one and onto tank as well, so that's an ultimate not finding as much value as possible. The focusing beam instead is going to be the thing to find the final blow, and it's XZD on the wing. Winston jumping out like King Kong, and with Rich going down, University of Connecticut are going to have to escape. The final stagger onto YouTube Kelp is brutal though.
And this is kind of like the momentum that Wilmere needed to regain here. Thankfully, the payload is not that, you know, it's not terrible where the payload is. A little bit too close to point B, absolutely, but they can definitely hold this choke point, and that's probably one of the biggest factors about Paraíso is that choke point can be so ruthless and so unforgiving at times. They're going to be forced to take this back area. As you can see, Nisu is definitely on top of it, getting a little bit of tickies out and warning the team, hey, they're coming to this building, and they certainly do, popping the sim wall once more. But the focusing beam doesn't get too much, but Primal is out, and they're all in that room. Insane Primal!
That's just ridiculous amounts of damage. And yeah, when you're playing into a Winston Ana comp, then you need to be scared of the Nano Monkey. Every time you need to be thinking of how to shut down the Nano Monkey, and there they had absolutely no chance. Small room with the Nano boosted Winston, Primal active as well for good measure, and yeah, that's a surefire ticket back to the spawn room. Now 30 seconds left on the bank for University of Connecticut. They have all of the tools they could possibly wish for, only missing out on the Blizzard, but the time is not what they wish for. They're going to have to quickly earn this space. They're going to have to quickly earn a positive cooldown trade. And right now, they're looking to do it just by investing. Also, the problem.
And that's Overclock and Flux. That's your main support. I'm sorry, your flex support gone. That is a nade. That's anti. That's everything gone, dusted. And the wait. Nisu might save the day with the freeze. Yes, with the duplicate freeze. That might have just saved this push from University of Connecticut. William Mary able to able to defend the card even longer, all because Nisu was able to duplicate May, get the freeze off, and not die the entire time. That is humongous. Going over the Winston as well, and then the Captain Sun is able to come out, but does not go through shield. Doesn't really matter. No, Nisu once again on top of it with the Echo Stickies.
And amazing choice to copy the Mei of all characters in that scenario. Plenty of other people would have went towards maybe a more comfortable pick. Tank's still a very popular duplicate, but instead going over to the Mei, knowing you could charge up to that Blizzard and punishing beautifully because of that. Of course, in the overtime, you have to stick to the point, but if it turns you into a popsicle, then it's kind of all the same, just a done deal. William and Mary. A brilliant stop there. Buck will end up, just about halfway through the streets phase of Paraíso, so University of Connecticut know exactly where they're going to need to reach on their own attack. Oh, no, I think I got mixed up, sorry. Where they're going to have to stop the payload reaching on their own defense, and William and Mary have a very reachable goal.
Absolutely. And the aggression from William Mary, especially with Nisu on the Echo, kind of not even being contested whatsoever. So much so that Nels is going over to the Soldier. And a pick I do agree with. Soldier is very strong right now. Great flanker. You're going to be able to kind of just be a flanking hit scan, get rid of supports, or even just, poke at Nisu, scare him out a little bit, make him retreat, and keep your team alive longer that way. A lot of good things are happening in this somewhat revised comp from University of Connecticut. William Mary keeping the same vibe, going with the Ilari, the Bab, the Sigma of course for Poke, and then Rival on that beautiful Soldier. And Nisu gonna be a problem still yet, and I hope that we can actually deal with Nisu with how dominant they have been on Paraiso.
It's going to be rough, to be sure. A little bit more hit scan pressure might be the tool for the job. But we're going to have to wait and see as the defense starts. Rich instantly taking a lot of damage. And yeah, posturing for that first high ground, but instantly dropping back to similar sight lines as their opponents. They're trying to play the same game, but whether we'll see the same responses, we're going to have to see. Only time will tell for that one.
Alright, looks like they're kind of going the same way here. Sans teleport, of course. So that low red building, good for a high ground, good for a cover, but the way that Rich is kind of utilizing the Sigma's primary there, where it just kind of bounces off and hits everyone, very smart, and forces XZD to come out and actually fight on the bridge here. What is the Sigma 1v1? Please, that's enough. Look, Rival taking care of Nels. Now that allows Nisa to actually come out of the woodworks and be a problem until Rival just kind of takes care of the rest of the DPSs. Oh my goodness, and then Nisa bullying. Oh no, this is bullying. Stop bullying the poor Bat, please. Alright, thank you, Rich. Thank you, exactly. Beautiful peel from Rich there for your BAP.
Yeah, not something you see every day, the Sigma coming through. I don't quite know how XZD's managed to get here into the backline, but suddenly the screws have been put onto XZD, so Rich, who has been taken down, and in a flash, William and Mary have rotated, wang-jangled, bamboozled their way onto the point, and University of Connecticut now 5 minutes they're going to have to defend. 5 minutes from which to stop William and Mary from taking a fight, maybe a fight and a half. Now this is rough. And with Max for the win with the window instantly, it's going to give up plenty of space. The sightline will be controlled by William and Mary, and so University of Connecticut, they're going to have to clutch up. They're going to have to clutch up now.
They will have to, especially because we do have an ult domino coming up. Everyone about to get their ults and maybe have to use it at the same time at some point. That window, like you said, should be good for that really long street, the quarter of the street. So as we get the payload started out of this, out of the first point, everyone's kind of going on the high ground, poking out a little bit, and Nels once again falls very quickly. Very first DPS to fall once more to XZD on the Sigma, reigning dominant here. And as all this has been happening, the payload is almost basically touching where it was previously.
That it is, just trying to get the cleanup now. It's going to be only the Sigma on the point, and the Rock, pretty summary end to that effort. Now, William and Mary, off the back of an intense Busan, step up and put University of Connecticut down. Paraiso one-sided in their favor, and now University of Connecticut against series points. Suravasa could be their final resting ground, but we're going to have to wait and see, because we do have a break coming up. But before that, we do have to take a moment to debrief more. I mean, what went down there?
You tell me. You do the color. No, I'm kidding. So, so what happened is I think they were so focused on positioning, on going to the high ground, but it was the wrong high ground. I think had they gone onto the back buildings where that green building and the red building are, had they gone there and really held that point, held that choke right before, the objective was cleared, they would have gotten it. They were distracted by the roundabout first high ground they went to, and you saw, I think it was just the Lucio, not the Lucio, it was just the Ilari just hanging on cart, pushing it to his destination. And sometimes that's kind of the best way to get to your objective. It's an objective-based game, not kill-based. You had 5 minutes, all you had to do was defend for 5 minutes. It's difficult. It's mentally taxing. You get like 5 points of psychic damage whenever you had to take a 5-minute defense. But I think the problem here was the wrong positioning, the wrong high ground.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. I also think another big thing has been that the Sigma 1v1 has consistently been going in the favor of William and Mary. Just taking a little bit less damage, I think, is the DPS. That's so much more resources you can pump into your Sigma. But these areas are going to have to be adjusted in pretty quick fashion because we do have a quick break. And when we're back, the conclusion of this series. We're back! And where we left off, William and Mary had just taken parity in pretty dominant fashion above their opponents, University of Connecticut, and now heading into Suravasa. For the sake of their series lives, University of Connecticut, they're going to need to step up. They're going to need to get the reverse sweep started now. And on a map like Suravasa, what do you make of their odds there?
Every single time I scrim Suravasa, it either goes one way or another. It's never truly like... it's never... I guess for me, it's never really been a head-to-head unless both teams were really wanting it. And the way that University of Connecticut is kind of down right now, this is kind of the map where you can roll or you can butt heads and win. You know, that's the motivation you're gonna need to have on something like Flashpoint. Still relatively new, still relatively tweaking out what kind of comms run super great here. Personally, any sort of rush is, especially with Lucio, is gonna be the key factor in getting from point A to point B to point C to point D, and to not even just getting 2 points, but avoiding each other going to each point. Because sometimes the fight happens in the middle of the street and you are still 100 meters from the point. So this is gonna be a very, very interesting map to deal with. Comps should be interesting here as well. Sigma can do well here. But I definitely see a lot more favor towards the Queen Brawl, the Queen Rush, than anything else.
I do have to say, on Flashpoint, while a lot of your DPS and tank choices down to personal preference more than anything else, I do massively favor the Lucio Baptiste backline, especially on this map. As you mentioned, those fast rotations between the point are so important, and Baptiste allows you a lot more flexibility with what you're playing, allows a lot more damage than a lot of other supports would bring, and the survivability as well, with your high healing, with your lamp as well. It's so strong. It works with so many different comps. Then if those two teams don't go towards that, to be honest, I would be a little bit surprised. In terms of what the rest of the team play, though, the majority of them, in fact, then, as I mentioned, plenty of options. The Sigma, as you brought up before, we've seen lots of Orisa, Genji when you expect you are playing into that rush, but knowing these two teams, maybe not too much of a likelihood. But Junker Queen, as you mentioned as well, very playable. You think it's going to be Winston, or it's just kind of an all-rounder that suits many different use cases, very high damage, and you're always going to be within effective range of that shotgun.
Exactly. So, again, anything can really happen here on Suravasa. Point goes by so quickly. You can be rolled or be the roller. Like, a lot of things just tend to happen on this. And interesting that this is like the third map. You know, typically it has a place to be in the third map or the last map. It's either that you want to finish your third game here or your fifth game here. There's no in between. So it's quite entertaining as our players do tend to get ready very quickly here. We're gonna be seeing the comps shortly. Again, we did see an Orisa at some point, so I can definitely see the horse coming out. I better be seeing a Lucio. That is a staple. Like where was I watching? It was a map I had watched, like a pro Overwatch team, and they didn't run Lucio versus another team that ran Lucio, and it was like
maybe like Toronto Defiant. They like to run their double flex support.
They do
comps even on this map, so yeah, that's be my guess at least. Now, it does work, and it's got a decent fight win percentage, but it just doesn't allow you to punish rotations, like, ever. So it's a big trade-off there, and yeah, I agree with you here. I mean, I just don't think it's particularly optimal. A team could try it, but I mean, I'd have to see some truly ridiculous plays out your backlane if you want to go for it. I think there's too much passive value, too much consistent value out the Lucio to go without.
And even, there's also flexibility if you don't want to go BAP, which they both have very proficient BAPs, better than my BAP by far. So even if you don't want to play the BAP, if you need a little bit more speed, you can go for the Kiriko, you can go for the Mora Fade. I play Mora specifically on Flashpoint just for the transport, just for the fade out option, and then damage orb does kind of just go through shields. That's what people like to go for. So a lot of the supports are kind of the baseline for how the vibe is gonna go for Flashpoint. If you have quick utility flex supports and then a quick main support like Lucio, it's gonna go by really fast. Now DPS, like you said earlier, very flexible as well. Most of them have some sort of survivability or movement option, that being Sojourn, for example, Slide, Reaper, Wraith, things like that. Mave, Self, Freeze. So DPSs can kind of go however they want. And tank, very, very flexible as well.
That's definitely true. Now, sorry for the quick delay. I believe we had to restart the lobby real quick, but we should be going in very shortly. But I think either team wants to get a delay. I think they really do want to just head into the action. At least I would if I were in their shoes. And I believe with this, we are in. We see our compositions. And William and Mary, they're playing Reinhardt.
Yes!
I knew you'd be excited for that.
I love playing with Reinhardt as an Ana main. They're just very fun. And the dynamic is always very fun to me. So Reinhardt's are always my favorites to watch, and I think they're hilarious. And I think Reinhardt is the epitome of big tank gober brain mentality. But Rich on University of Connecticut is still going to go for the Sigma, and Rich has a great Sigma, and this can work, especially because at least if you don't have the Lucio, you have Sim teleport to get to point A to point B, with relative quickness, at the very least. So they have some movement, even if it's not with the Lucio, like Nuke Llama is playing here. Now, with the Lucio, you see, William Mary is already on the point. It's still 10 seconds till, but they have all this space, and look at how much space University of Connecticut has. Nothing. Nada. Zit. Nothing.
That being said, the point is not the most practical positioning, but Maywell's going to put the pressure onto Rich, who's forced to give up some space and give up some HP, but Allspeak will escape with his life. Lamps traded out for both teams, but when the dust settles, it doesn't look like anyone's really going down.
Yeah, everyone's pretty much hunkering down on the point here. Sigma himself, right on top of everything as we take a kind of a trade here, tank for the support. And at least right now, May is your new tank, and that's like what the mentality is going to be as we get into this this long team fight that's probably going to be drawn out for a little bit longer here as May tries to contest with the wall, trying to wall up the Sigma, but with only, BAP at the helm, it's not going to be enough, even with the South Freeze. Getting a good pit there from a rival on Tis, guys, on the Alari. Not going to be enough as we are able to see University of Connecticut take the point after a 43% already on William and Mary.
It did give me the heebie-jeebies, though. So many players in the University of Connecticut, they dropped so low, but William and Mary, unfortunately, didn't have the HP to punish. That's one way of getting a punish, though. The pin onto YouTube helped start off the fight.
That's huge. That's kind of been that could be a big factor here gone because Sim is so good against those barriers, those shields that Ryan has, that big old one. We gotta be careful here. Window is active. Both windows are here. And can we get the out healing? No. Nell's gonna be selfish. Gonna gain those picks as well on Inisu with the May. And University of Connecticut is still racking up a good amount of percentage here very quickly. Don't forget, control point and flash point, two very different speeds for the percentages.
And something we haven't spoken about until now, I believe, is a substitution. So Eclipse coming in to play the Sojourn and Nelson now on that Baptiste, so they can play that double flex support composition comfortably. YouTube Kelp, though, on the Junkrat, who we should have been talking about, who gets a double kill to start off proceedings in this final fight of Market.
Junkrat is also really fun on Flashpoint. You can probably imagine why. He is Junkrat. You kind of go around, you put your little trap down, little concussion mine down. People are bound to run into it because they're trying to just tunnel in on going to the next point. So, break the pylon, please. That pylon is still on the other point.
It can be called back. It can be recalled back.
Yay! All right, they are all set up here already on the next point. Not able. Well, the point isn't open for another couple seconds, so a team fight could happen here, or they can wait it out. Which I think Will and Mary is gonna take the side route and just kind of wait out a little bit here, see what resources we can gather. Beautiful wall.
They're trying to flip the map onto Rich, and yeah, Frozen taken down. That's a pretty summary way of at least getting a tank advantage here. And pushing forward with the overclock is Rival. Railguns not connecting until they do. YouTube helped his guy, both catching the shell to the head, and now it's a stagger onto Nels. Just, I think getting the Sojourn charge longer and longer.
Oh my god.
This is brutal. This is so brutal. This is so much time off the bank. Nicely the one to find the final blow. At University of Connecticut, they have nothing to do but wait for their Baptiste to come back. Honestly, that stagger might have given William and Mary a whole extra fight. And that's just everything you'd possibly want out of a pre-fight ritual. And a lovely body block as well, putting the screws onto Rich. That's another staggered kill. University of Connecticut can just not take 5-on-5s.
Oh, here's comes a tire though, and where we gonna get? Oh, they're all staggered out. Can we find anyone before it detonates? And we don't find the May. Good timing on the ice wall, or the ice block, to not get one shot by the Junkrat tire. And University of Connecticut able to recap point, funnily enough. William Mary still has about 80% on the board here, which is a lot of team, not even a lot, a little bit of team fights to make up for. And if they just win one, I'm pretty sure that'll set the tone, and with that window being the first opener here, that's gonna be a good start for William Mary to retake this point as they do. Orisa Z on the Z, Z on the Orisa. Oh my goodness, on the point, capping it as well, and then the window right in the middle there, easy to kind of go away from. Nice wall as well.
Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, Terror Surge not connecting. Instead, it's a railgun onto Eclipse. Max get the final blow, and it is a brawl on the point. Pandemonium unfolds, but as the dust settles, William and Mary looking to be the survivor in this particular battle. Gonna go 1-1 here on Suravasa. And as the next flashpoint begins to unlock, they both make their way towards Palace.
Yep, going towards Palace now. Personally, my favorite of the flashpoints on Suravasa, I think it's very nice. It has a lot of good high ground, has a lot of good little areas and looks like crannies, especially for Junkrat on Palace to abuse, you know. But look again, William and Mary are right back on this point and being very aggressive with the May Blizzard and using the Flux as a response, not gonna be enough. Oh, as I say that, we are getting some trades here, favorable to University of Connecticut, maybe. We gotta get rid of this Orisa though. Have to get rid of the Orisa as fast as possible.
Yeah, Exody pushing forward, won't be able to get a final blow, but it's high ground angers, as you mentioned, for University of Connecticut, and so Rival's going on a bit of a mission to clear them out, but Exody's clearing them off the point, and yeah, taking everyone down. YouTube Kelp, the sole survivor, and I'm not sure the concussion mines are enough to take care of every member of William and Mary. Instead, yeah, YouTube Kelp will fall. That's a brutal stagger for University of Connecticut, who now are going to have to think about how to crack this one open. Now with mirrored Orisas on the board.
Sometimes you just have to pick the unethical horse, and that's okay. When there's two of them, it's okay when it happens. Now this gives everyone a lot more of a fighting chance with Fortify, with Window Orisa's scary, and the terrorist on everyone else. Bap should be going down here, and Nels does from Max. His partner Bap is so scary. Captain Sun does hit, but unable to capitalize off of the explosion, not getting enough damage in. Will and Mary holding this like a stubborn, I want to say stubborn horse. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean.
Yeah, donkey.
Holding it very stubbornly at least.
We'll say donkey.
Yeah, like a stubborn donkey, not moving from this area, and University of Connecticut just can't break the defense here.
Yeah, Riptide's pop, but it's going to be very scary, but there are at least tools to counter it. Still rolling, still searching for an opportunity, but yeah, gets broken by the overclock of Rival, who right now is free firing into all of University of Connecticut. The window from Nels is controlling space, yeah, but it doesn't have the one-shot capability. Just missing Eclipse's overclock, which is online now. The beat to try and soften it. Instead, it looks like it won't even be invested. This fight on the high ground is crucial. Rival getting the final blow there, and now the overclock is online, taken offline. Pretty summary end to that particular ultimate from Rival. And now it's just Rich, I believe, on the Orisa, taking damage, bumps up. The Bab healing will be fading pretty quick. And while there is an attempt, it takes care of both the backline. This one's back on the menu now.
Orisa is a hero. Rich was quite literally one. Rich was one, popped the Terror Surge so smartly, was able to just kind of go into the rest of the team who were all very grouped up together. and just took care of the two most important people on William Mary, Bap
stand there?
and Lucio. Oh, wait, we're cooking.
I didn't
Hold
know
on.
you could stand there.
Me neither.
Of
This is what I'm
course
talking
Junkrat
about.
mates would know. Of
This
course
is Junkrat
Junkrat mates
stuff.
would know.
Hold on, we're cooking. Go
Yeah,
inside,
it's
go
gonna be
inside.
an assassination surely.
No!
Oh! Yeah, that's
Oh,
beautiful.
that's huge. That's a huge stagger. Oh no. They have to fall back.
They know they can chase the kill on huge count now, and they realize they've got even odds. They can push this.
Yes! I love when supporters just they gotta do everything here. Let's go! And we're the problem here. And Eclipse and Rival going for the 1v1. Eclipse winning it out. So pushing forward with the aggression. Forcing William Mary to stay a lot behind cover. Terror Surge coming out though. Not gonna be enough as the slide does save Eclipse's life for a little bit longer there. But not Nels, unfortunately. You're Sunstruck, but you're Orisa, you're fine. But there's a freeze. Rich down for the count, and Eclipse falling right after. Unfortunately, Kelp coming in a little bit too late here. And this oh, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, cleaned up. XD on the Orisa, there's going to be enough. And pop-offs from both Orisas, but William and Mary, the ones to profit from it. So, yeah, Palace goes the way of William and Mary. 2-1, University of Connecticut on their last flashpoint of the series. A possibility of that at least. Nels will have a window. They can charge into many more ults, but will Gardens be the resting place of University of Connecticut, or will their tombstones be planted elsewhere?
I'm not sure, but they're already stationed on this point. The window does get popped though, and it does force Z to get out of dodge for sure. You don't want to get into that window, even with Orisa Fortify, even with Orisa survivability. The damage output is now refired back onto University of Connecticut. William Mary's own window does come out, and Rich is basically won and dies, unable to get out of there quick enough. The overclock from Eclipse has to come through and has to save the day, but unfortunately is not going to, with the beat drop from Nuke just falling through.
Yeah, the beat not enough to stop the overclock coming through, but either way, shut down in pretty short order. And now William and Mary, they're in control, and a fight, 2 fights left maybe for University of Connecticut. Now, in their favor, they have ults and they have strong ults. Riptide has been quiet historically, but always has an opportunity to come out clutch. And Rich, I mean, we've seen exactly what this man can do with the Terror Surge. Has another opportunity to do it now. William and Mary, though, they have defensive positioning, they have an overclock, and they have all the momentum in the world to close out this series.
For sure, and I think we're already seeing that they know that there's a Terror Surge coming. You see how bold the Orisa is. When Orisa get bold like that, they're coming into the Terror Surge, and Rich able to get one pick, not enough here as Rival pops their own overclock and able to kind of clean up what Rich unfortunately could not. Rich did get max with the Terror Surge, but Rival seeing that, damn, I'm down my flex support, I'm down my main healing. I have to pop overclock and clutches it out. Riptide coming in, and are they gonna be able to contest in time? Eclipse does, but Riptide's not able to get anything. Z destroying it, reduced to atoms even.
And yeah, just to clean up now, the touch comes through from Rich, but the Blizzard is there, frozen up, taken down, overtime wick, burning down to its holder. And with that, William and Mary complete the 3-0 over University of Connecticut, looking strong on Suravasa.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. They just, you know, the first part of the game, it looked very even, but once they got to that Orisa switch, once they had the momentum going, I think it was a little bit too late for the mirror Orisa, unfortunately. Had they gone Orisa, the rule for Orisa, if they go Orisa, immediately go Orisa. That should be the rule from now on Overwatch, because I think had they switched at the same time, or shortly after they saw the first switch to Orisa, it would have gone a little bit better, because we saw, you know, how well Rich did stay alive with the Orisa, with Fortify, with Terror Surge. It's possible. It was just a little bit too late.
To be honest, I wouldn't mind if the hero was gone from the game at all, but William and Mary, it got them their win, so I don't think they're too fussed about it overall. And I think consistently throughout the series, what we did see from them was some really clean rotations. That was kind of the big difference maker, I think, between these two teams. I think University of Connecticut could sometimes struggle to get into those even odds fights, those 50-50, 5-on-5 brawls, and William and Mary felt like always had that or numbers advantage, and were just able to convert it. I felt like when we were into those really, scrappy fights, then that was when we kind of saw University of Connecticut get some fight wins, get some real percentage on the board. But unfortunately, you can't only take, even odds or better fights. You need to be able to fight from numbers disadvantage. You need to be able to consistently learn how to avoid getting into numbers disadvantages. So definitely an area to work on for next time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna have an interview quite yet. It's a little bit late here. Oh, we are gonna have an interview. Beautiful. I love my production so much. So we're gonna have an interview for you guys coming up real fast. But before we go into that, we're gonna go to a really quick break, get some water, de-stress, and chill out for a second. So we'll be right back. And welcome back. We are joined by the very talented tank of William and Mary, the Sigma and Arisa connoisseur. XED, how are you doing? How are we feeling over the 3-0 win?
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing.
I'll just start. Oops.
Oh, no. I don't got anything.
Sure. Well, I'll start off the question then by speaking about Para ESO a little bit. Of course, you guys are playing, I believe, double flex support pretty much the entire time, and I think you were pretty consistently winning out the Sigma 1v1s, at least on the defense, definitely. So can you talk us through exactly how you were doing that, why you think you had a bit of an edge in that particular regard?
Yeah, I think on Paricio, yeah, I was playing Sigma on defense only first point, but I was playing the entire time offense. It was how I'm winning the 1v1. You just gotta hit the rocks. I think I definitely noticed their Sigma was using his suck like way too early a lot of the time, and when he uses a key cooldown like that, it's my turn to move, rock him in, so my team can get the easy follow up.
And fair enough. And then I also want to ask a little bit about the tank swaps going into Suravasa, because I think you shuffled through a couple, eventually settling on the Arisa. Can you talk me through kind of the process of mind that led you to that particular solution?
Yeah, so first we noticed a roster swap from them. We were pretty sure they were gonna go double flex support. So we wanted to go something fast at first, so Reinhardt with a pin ability. But then they were going like junk, they were going sim, they were going some stuff that's a little cheesy heroes in my opinion, that's hard for Reinhardt to deal with. So Arisa's got that survivability, you got really good CC with your spear. It's a lot more consistent on Arisa than what they were playing.
Yeah, for sure. Arisa, she's definitely a pick of all time. So before we send you off, of course, we had to ask who we want to give a shout out to. It could be your team, it could be your parents, it could be your university. Really, anyone you want to feel deserves a shout out on the broadcast. Please let us know.
I forgot to give them the link to watch, so they might just have to watch this as a clip. But shout out to both my parents, who are very supportive of me playing video games. I love them a lot, and they mean a lot to me.
That's very beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna start crying. Thank you so much. You did fantastic. Let the team know we wish them a congratulations, and have a good rest of your day or night, please. On that note, yes, you will. On that note, that's it for us.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Oh, that's adorable. Okay. That was XZD on the tank, playing very phenomenally, showcasing a little bit of what he knows about the character and what he knows is about, the opposite tank as well. What I'm noticing is that that's the end of the broadcast for us. That's our last match of the night. It is late at night, especially for my co-caster. So,
Don't think
thank
about
you
the
so
time
much for joining us tonight. Please follow us on our socials. Shout outs to our producer tonight, Blizzard. We love you so much. And that's all. We will see you guys next Friday. Please tune in tomorrow for I believe Rocket League. No, Valorant, and yeah, have fun. We'll see you guys next week.